Sometimes we have a hard time allowing ourselves to be mad at someone because we know that they were doing their best. It is important to be able to acknowledge another person's humanity and another person's journey, but that doesn't mean you have to forfeit your right to be mad. And it doesn't mean that you have to forgive. So many people have this idea that the end goal is to not be angry anymore, or the end goal is to be able to offer forgiveness, but that's not necessarily even a healthy end goal in some situations. I just got off with a client who was working on grieving their mother, and they were having a really tough time giving themselves permission to be angry. They were so focused on seeing their parents' humanity that they couldn't give themselves permission to be angry. Like, it felt wrong for them to be angry at their parent. You can recognize that somebody loved you and that they did their best and that the best they gave you was bullshit. Somebody's best might not be enough for you, and that doesn't mean they're bad, and it doesn't mean that they weren't absolutely trying to give you what they thought you deserved. It doesn't mean that they didn't end generational patterns in the way they parented you. Or if you're working on this with a partner relationship, obviously it can apply. But just because somebody did their best and just because somebody reduced the harm doesn't mean that their best was good. And it doesn't mean that you need to be grateful to them. There's an important distinction to make between recognizing someone's humanity and recognizing, yes, they're human, and yes, they still caused me an incredible amount of harm. There's a difference between you understanding their humanity and them having continued access to harm you. You don't have to let someone have continued access to you in order to recognize that they move the needle in very significant ways in the way they reacted to you because they loved you. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to acknowledge you did your best and your best was shit, and I'm still mad about it. You're allowed to have those feelings, and it doesn't make you bad. It doesn't mean you're not forgiving. It doesn't mean you're not a good person. It means that you're still living with the significant harm that person caused you, and you're allowed to be mad. You don't need to feel guilty for being mad at that person. And yes, maybe for you, part of your journey is healing them. But maybe it's not, and that's okay. If you want help figuring this out, let me know. I have an inner child healing group where we work on healing the wounds in our relationships and becoming the person we want to be.